welcome back. When I first put this up about 3 years ago, I always wanted to do a voiceover as I went through it. When I wanted to do a one plot challenge, and I wanted to do something different, and so I thought of commercial buildings, which I tend to like better than residences. So I thought I'd do a radio station, an old time radio station, with elevators, which are just for looks. But it was a good chance to play around with the one plot. Some of my friends had done it, so I thought I'd finally take a crack at it. And at this particular time, I was really into Art Deco, so I thought I'd study up on that. There's a great site called DecoPix, and it's got great galleries for Art Deco, which was popular. It came out in the mid-20s, so 1925 in Europe, and then expanded worldwide into the US about in the 1930s, as well as Japan, China, Havana, Buenos Aires, just all over. And it's highlighted by a few things, which is simple shapes and streamlined look, and then really overdone and conceptualized geometric shapes and statuary and objects and ornamentation. So you can see I've slowly been building up here by day 3. I got my Art Deco stripes in, adding some sharp wedges at the end, give some visual interest. I took down the call numbers and the station identifier because I didn't like that over the door, and slowly been playing with the monkey. Good thing about doing monkey heads this big is that you can add more detail. And at first I'd gone understated, but I've slowly been playing with it. And slowly by day 5, the shell was really going up with oak and elm. Now this is kind of a hallmark of a lot of my builds since then. I like to do the exterior shell first, and you do it however you want. Pick your color palette. And here I've started to add in vertical walnut lines to kind of break up the oak and elm, and that kind of draws your eye upward, following the shell of the building. It also gives you good attachment points for your can lights. I finally got the monkey situated. Decided to go with the walnut color to accentuate the monkey over the door, and then continue to those stripes up, and that's good because you can take those visual elements and either continue or not continue them as you choose, and it certainly can break up your building or your build. So skinny funky windows, weird kind of cone shaped bottom windows, and after looking at lots and lots of Art Deco, I wanted to put in stylized monkeys, stylized birds, somewhere in the middle. I've done that. Decided to curve the building around those features. And now I've got the Big Ape 95, which is a real radio station, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Great spring break spot. And I thought it fit my monkey theme. And here by day 8, I was really rolling on the exterior shell here. Good thing about these geometrics and these straight streamlined elements is that they just lead you right into the next one. And here I've added the call letters, K-A-P-E. I believe the Big Ape 95 is W-A-P-E. That's for the east of the Mississippi, and K-A-P-E would be west of the Mississippi River for those of us who live in the US or friends that are international. And by day 10, I'd added in the radio tower, and that was as high as I wanted to go with this one plot. One plots are challenging. Not only are you constrained by your length and width, but once you get inside, it's just a logistical nightmare. Moving wood around and filling BPs and shooting it up or carrying up straws. So I finally went to a curve around the monkeys. That let me flesh the building back out. And kind of narrowed it in a little bit. But again, the stripe continues upward, so that let your eye come up to the monkeys and then continue on up to the call letters, and then ultimately to the apex of the radio tower. Did install a blinky light. And unfortunately, at this particular time, the dynamic lighting came in, and so there's a light cap about 8 stories up. Unfortunately, the call letters are in shadow at night, even with my lighting. I was extremely happy with the curves over the monkey head, the varying textures, and how the oak and elm stripes kind of diverted into walnut vertical stripes, and then used posts of elm to kind of add shadow and context in the lower parts. Here by day 12, the front of the exterior shell is looking pretty good. Curving around the monkeys, started to build out the conference room and the upper floors for the CEO and president. And that led me into some other Art Deco designs, just simple geometrics. But that mid-mezzanine level where the monkeys are is kind of my middle building ground. I would either fill down here on the bottom floor and shoot filled BPs up to the middle level, or use the ladders in the back to try to carry straws up. It became very frustrating at times. One plots have it all. Short on space, vertical height, and it just gets to you after a while, which is why I had to take a break from this. I'm looking to get back into it. Again, I think I'm very happy with this as an Art Deco example, and as a one plot. Yeah, you can start to pick out those geometric shapes up top, just repeated diamond pattern. In a lot of my builds, I do the exterior shell first and then go in and do the interiors afterwards, depending on what form or function I've picked for that building. Luckily with one plots you can park your big haulers next to the building and use that for storage. So far that's worked. A lot of one plots I see use the first floor for wood storage, milling, and they build up from there. I wanted to try something a little different that I hadn't seen done, and that's leaving the back open and just zipping that up at the end. Also with the exterior shell system like this, you can do that really quickly and then take your time doing the interior, and it becomes visually pleasing very quickly. Down here in the lobby, I wanted to mimic a tree. Unfortunately, doing some of this freeform work like this leads to weird floors. So I wasn't really happy with that transition above the tree, but I made it work. Certainly not going to change it now. Stairs. Stairs take up a lot of room, and in one plot you don't have much. There's a good look at the Art Deco ducts. You can certainly use ladders if you want to be practical, but it's not very visually pleasing. It's like coming up into the offices. You can see the diamond patterns there. This is more than just an Art Deco exercise. I really enjoyed the style. I think it lends itself well to lumber. So please, you should check out that decopix.com site and look through some of the galleries. There's great doors and windows that might give you an idea of something you want to do here in lumber. All right, day 17, actual building. Back up. You can see on the interior shell here I used birch white to make the walls the color I wanted. And on one plot like this, you can certainly spend the data it takes to do a double wall like that. It can certainly add up if you use it on larger builds. But doing that interior and exterior also lets you add in funky cone windows without glitching, and you can do funky 3D effects. Blinky circuit. Not on a timer. Back in the day before timers. We are on day 18. There really seems to be minimal changes as I start to transition to the inside. Because at this point, I do need to work on some of the interior pieces to ultimately zip up the back. Got my office monkey, I made custom furniture, using my koa and walnut palette, added end tables. Thought I probably might make a bakery room up here. We've got the fridge, oven. And I finally decided to use glass steps. That just seems like a very deco thing to do. I finally cleared up some space on this mezzanine up here. Instead of building and using it for storage. That way I can concentrate on doing some of the interior work. And definitely these hexagon windows are another feature that you can do with that double shell system. Obviously glitching would save a lot. This definitely lets you differentiate between exterior shell and interior shell. Certainly takes more work, but I think it's worth it in some cases. Back up through the seating area. Copier. Decided to do stylized elevators. Not working. And finally came up with a good way, I think, to really do a repeated geometric design for this stairwell, and I really like how this came out. Certainly had more room here, but all glass. Use the diamonds as the railing, and then that brings it up into the conference room. So day 19, and things have slowed down for the exterior shell as I start to transition to the interior. But looking good. Lots of layers, lots of definition, different transitions, different parts of the building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 floors plus the little seating area right here. So 7.5. And I thought that was tall enough. And you gotta give respect to people who do one plots. It's very challenging, it's very confining, and it's very wearying. You know, the confinement just gets to you after a while. The extra effort it takes to shoot things up and carry things up. But started to work on this boardroom, got the sconces in, started doing end tables, had some flowers, and again with the one plot, you've got data to spare, so it's worth doing those little details, and you certainly can do it. Alright, interior shell walls pretty much done. Day 20. Got birch white up everywhere. And it's nice because you can look down the whole stairwell. Right there. All the way down. I thought that was a neat effect. I've got plans for this mezzanine. But once again, I still have to have work somewhere so I can work, finish off this boardroom. Starting to do designs in the ceiling. These are all just little details that just make everything great. All right, day 21. fast build for me. It was pretty good. It's right about here that we started getting tired of climbing stairs and ladders. But did get the boardroom pretty much done. Ceiling, all the little details. So I just started right here for the vid cut. Got the conference table in, custom chairs, laptop, presentation, finished the ceiling. That's about where I stopped. Well, thank you so much for coming along this journey with the voiceover. Art Deco, it's a great style. You should check it out.